All right, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Rule the Tape film crew, I have a very, very special guest with me this evening. Um, the bottom line is we've been trying to get this thing together, put this thing on the map, and we're finally here. We are finally here. He needs no introduction, but I'm going to allow him to give one himself because I don't want to miss out on some of the information that he is going to grace us with to share just a few items about boxing. But before we get to that, before we get to the man of the hour, uh, come December 5th, and I'm talking about Regis Prograis, we have to introduce his strength and conditioning coach and trainer, Evins
Tobler.
Tobler.
That's
Have
it.
to pronounce it correctly.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a part of the show, man, and allowing us to interview, man. Thank you. Welcome to the Rolling Kick Tape podcast.
Man, I'm blessed, man. I've been on a lot of interviews, but I don't shy from interviews. I like it. It's a part of the game. And it's also a chance for me to let people know who I am, man, because I've been doing this for a minute, and it's happening, and I'm here. So I'm excited to talk to anybody who want to talk to me. As long as they ain't talking no shit, I can talk that too. So whatever they want to,
Absolutely.
I can do.
Absolutely. So, Evans, let's start from the beginning. We know you're from the East Coast. Most people may not know who you are, like you just said. Give us a little background of where you are from, and let's start a foundation from there.
Man, I'm from Trenton, New Jersey, East Trenton, 600 block of East Trenton. Shout out to my East Side boys, man, because without the fellas in my neighborhood, bro, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have done half the shit I've done in sports and athletics and just growing up and becoming from a young man to a grown man. I had guys in my neighborhood what we call old heads that groomed us, man, and taught us how to have that respect on the block, respect my fellow man, and doing this even to today, I live by some of those principles, man, as a grown man, and even as an athlete coming from high school, middle school, high school. I mean, all my time was spent in Trenton, in my neighborhood. I went to we had 5 middle schools, 5 junior high schools, and I went to junior number one. And if you wasn't a city champion, you couldn't play high school sports. We had 5 junior high schools, one
Wow.
major high school, Trenton High School, and I was middle school champion, city champion. Went to the high school, Trenton High School. Played football at the high level, ran track at a high level. I didn't fare out so well in football because I don't know some old circumstances, but I was able to go to college and I was state champion, All American. I still hold the record in my county for the longest jump. All American. I went to college on a track and field scholarship, collegiate champion, 3-time collegiate champion, pin relays champion in Philadelphia. That's one of the biggest meets in the country. I was a professional runner. I've ranked as high as 13th to 14th in the world in the long jump. I'm still till this day ranked among the top 250 jumpers in history
Wow.
with the long jump of 26 feet 9 inches. I had some jumps over 27 feet. I mean, I've been all over the world, man, competing as an athlete. I competed with the best ever. Guys like Carl Lewis and Larry Marix and Evelyn Ashford during those times when track and field was very difficult. It was difficult to make a U.S. Olympic team here. I've gone to Olympic trials. I've done all that stuff, and that prepared me for this game of what I'm doing now. But man, that was my foundation and everything else. I also had a chance to try out for the Denver Broncos in '91. Then I went to Canada, played in the preseason in Denver, and I didn't play college ball. I ran a 40 for Denver and ran a 4.3 three
Mm.
times. They invited me to camp, and I left track and field and then I played in the preseason, got cut, and then I went to Canada, played in Edmonton, and then I came back to track and field, and I finished my track and field career. And then I got into coaching, and man, it's so much, bro. It's
Yeah,
like
let's break it. Let's break it
it,
down. Let's start with what you talked about. Being from the East Trenton. You
mm-hmm,
know, being from East Trenton and some of those protocols and all those principles that you still live by today. As an athlete,
mm-hmm.
how did growing up uh, and being a part of the trenches as we call it in East Trenton prepare you mentally for being an athlete and being successful? How did being in those environments and conditions prepare you, man?
Man, I was always the younger guy. All the older guys would come and get me. They saw that I had a talent, and they would come and get me from my house. I live right across the street from a park we call Hetzel's Park. Everything we did in Hetzel's Park, and the older guys in my neighborhood would come and get me. Some of those guys are gone, man. What was the guy? Lonzo Leary. We had a guy named Blue. The Norwoods, man, there was a Norwoods had like 11 brothers, and all the motherfuckers were athletes. I mean, like we had Blue, we had Slip, all man, we got some names in the hood. Gump, Big Mook. Big Mook is big. He's still around. He was the guy that kind of Big Mook, like he would check you, bro. You had to respect the older guys, and if they came out, and I got picked on a team to play, if I got hit hard, we played like street tackle on the grass, and you get hit, and they said get up, get back to work. And even though that was football season, we played every season. If it was baseball, I wasn't such a good baseball player, but every season we played, they'd come out and we'd pick teams and they'd play. And just being around those guys who are super athletic, but they had the street life too. The streets is making a lot of stuff happen in the street. You already know what goes on in the neighborhood, and some of the guys were that we glorified. Also said, no, no, this ain't for you, bro. Go home. You know, and so they protected me, man, and I was in it. So those that just being there, the power and the strength mentally to live in an area from the outside that was so. When you mentioned Trenton, New Jersey, they say, "Oh man, that's like a war zone." But you never know because you live right in it. You're right in the mix. So I've been through some tough times, man, and the stuff that I go through now don't even compare. I mean, you see a lot of shit, man. You see guys getting shot. You see guys selling their product. You also see guys being celebrated. So you're forced to make a decision. But if if they found you making the wrong decision and they knew that wasn't for you, they didn't let you do it. They didn't let me get out there and sell that shit on the block. I could have. I'd have shot a couple of dice games, but as far as what they were doing, they didn't let us do it. So it toughed me up, man. And it gave me that respect. You couldn't talk anyway to anybody in the neighborhood. You couldn't just say what you want to say. You had to respect the older guys. They respected you. So, when we talk about respect, people don't get it, man. In some places, you just don't say certain things. you
Yeah,
know?
you right. You right.
So Trent made me tough, man. Tough.
So you're from Trenton.
Hmm.
You were a standout athlete, track and field, a collegiate scholarship. You
Hmm.
talked about the Denver Broncos
Hmm.
allowing you to try out. You played the game for them overseas in Canada.
Hmm.
Um, People might think that you're just a boxing trainer, but I think you have some strength and conditioning expertise with you. But before we get there, I was told by a good friend of yours, mutual friend of mine's, that you did some bodybuilding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about your transition from track and field. How did you get into bodybuilding?
Well, when I retired from track, man, I was bored. I was like, how do I? And I was 35 when I stopped competing in track. So I was like, I never worked. I didn't. I made a living doing that, and I was bored. And I remember going to this gym here in Houston because I finished my track career here in Houston, and I'll tell this story. And my boy, so I was going to this gym called One to One, and at the time I was teaching, I was coaching and teaching at a little private school, and I saw this guy real jacked up. And I was like, he looks pretty fit. So I was there trying to work out, and I was like, I'm gonna come to the gym and work out. I want to compete, but I didn't know who to train with because I didn't know nothing about the sport. I was already muscular, and so I saw this guy in the gym, and then I went home. I said, "Fuck it, I'll get me magazines." Started reading the magazines. I was excited about the sport. I saw this guy's like, that's the little African guy at the gym. He wasn't African though. I thought he was. So I came to the gym the next day with the magazine. I said, "Hey man, is this you?" He says, "Yeah." His name was John Sherman. They called him the Tank. I said, "You gonna train me to compete?" He looks at me crazy, and we best friends now. So he's John Sherman. Tank trained me for bodybuilding, man, and I won every time I stepped on stage. And the picture that I saw, that you saw, that I put online, because motherfuckers was trying to challenge my president and who I was, my accolades. And so I went back and got my bodybuilding pictures, and I was in the state of Texas. I got third in the super heavyweight out of the top guys in the state of Texas. And after that, I didn't want to. I was in my 40s, and they were like, "Well, you got to get bigger." And I was like, "No, I'm done." So I stopped competing in bodybuilding, and during that time, I was still making. I was making meals and healthy meals for other athletes. But yeah, man, bodybuilding gave me another look into more profound nutrition, water manipulation, sodium, all the things, the chemical stuff that you do for the body doing bodybuilding. I learned all that shit, all the rehydration. I know all that. And I learned that from John. I'm gonna give John a big shout out. John taught me a lot of stuff, man, on top of everything that I knew. But my bodybuilding career was directed by no other than John Sherman Tank.
So once you got into bodybuilding, and of course you talked about being in your later stages of life,
Mm-hmm.
nearly 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so once you got into bodybuilding, what made you say, you know what? I want to transfer the skills that I have to work with other athletes, including boxers. What made you have that thought process?
Well, I was at the time, I'd gone from like 185 to like 215 one year. I trained for 2 years before I got on stage. So by the time I got thought about doing anything, I don't know if you remember, three-time world champion Juan Diaz.
Of course,
I
yes.
was Juan's bodyguard, and at the time, I was married, and we would make meals. We was making healthy meals. Juan would make meals for Juan, Kermit Cintron, Ronnie Shields, and the Charlo boys took our meals sometime. Rocky Suarez. We did all the meals for these athletes. And so one day I was at Savannah's gym here in Houston, famous gym. R.I.P. to Mr. Savannah. Mr. Savannah died some years ago, man, but he's a legend in the city, in the state of Texas, all over the world. He was Juan's manager for a long time. But in Savannah's gym, I came one day and I was watching Juan's conditioning. And I was watching another guy's condition. I was like, there's so much more that they could be doing. But, I wasn't their conditioning coach. And I went to, I wanted to work with him, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna stay in my lane. I'm not crossing the lanes. And that's what I did. I stayed in my lane. I delivered the meals, made my money. I come to the gym and hit the bag and and look around. And then one Saturday morning, man, I was on the track training some clients, and I saw these two kids running, and track was my love. When they was running, man, they was embarrassing the sport, bro. Their form was jacked up, and I was just like, listen, let me help you guys. Just don't look right. So I helped them with their form. One kid was running like this. The other kid was running, I don't know, but the form was jacked up. One of those kids, one of those kids was Regis Prograis, and the other kid was Pablo Cruz. It's Saturday morning, 8:30, and these kids are out here running by themselves, right? So I was like, I said, I know you guys from somewhere. It's like, I said, yeah, I've seen you at Savannah's. And I think Regis, I don't know how many fights he had, but it was real early in his career. And Pablo had some fights as well. So they were like, well, we'll have a manager call you and see if he could work with you. Shout out to Jay John for giving me an opportunity to work with those two athletes. And Jay called me and he said, "Hey man, they're not making no money right now, but I believe they're going to be able to be big time one day." I said, "I'm in, bro. Count me in." And here we are, man. Fucking Regis, two-time world champion. Pablo Cruz had a great career, So I mean, it was meant for me to be like that, bro.
So you so when you met Regis Prograis, was he a kid, teenager?
He was he
Um,
he was early on as he was a young pro.
he was a young pro.
Yeah.
When you met him,
hmm
did you come on board as his trainer or just strength and conditioning coach?
I don't do nothing with the boxing. I don't fuck with that. I just stay in my lane. He got boxing coaches for that, but I
So
just
so
did it.
you came in on the team as a strength and conditioning coach for Regis.
Yes. hmm
And obviously, from his early pro days all the way to the day, he's had a lot of success. And we
Yes.
have to credit you as being a strength and conditioning coach.
From day
Now,
one, baby.
day one.
Yeah.
So walk me through the transition that Regis had to go through from getting with you, and
hmm
then you started to see how he
hmm
started to level up as time progressed.
Well,
Walk us through the transition in that.
for you know what's funny? Sometimes, every once in a while, you get those athletes that come along and they just they just have it, and it really wasn't a, oh my God, what I do? Oh, it really wasn't transition. Everything that we did, everything I put out, he did it. He handled it, and then everything else is kind of snowballed. He never missed a training session till this day. We're talking about 12 years ago. He never missed a training session. The workouts are fucking crazy. It's hard. Everything I would do with Regis was based on how many rounds he was going. If he went 6 rounds, we had that amount of work, and it was intense, and it was like a fight. So what I would try to do is create physical situations out of the training that he would go through as a fighter, and he adapted. Most people can't do the type of work that Reese is doing, the volume and the load and the intensity. He handled it, man, and shit. The rest is history. I won't even say transition. We just got better and better. We got stronger and stronger. Naturally, he's a powerful kid. I just made it. I made it better. I mean, he got heavy hands. He hit hard. I just make sure he can hit hard for a long time.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I'm saying?
with that, yeah. So good point, Evans. So with that being said, we have a lot of viewers
hmm
on this channel. They watch. Some of them are women.
hmm
Some of them are casual boxing fans, but they don't know, the language of boxing. So we're talking about strength and conditioning because that's what we know being in the sport of boxing. But we have an audience of people that do not know certain elements involved in preparation for these fighters in training, right? So can you give us a brief synopsis on what is a strength and conditioning coach? What are the requirements? What do a strength and conditioning coach do
Well,
for an
well,
athlete?
what I can only go for myself. What I do, if I get a fighter, and first I test their fit level, and I have a 9 minute rule, a 9 minute 369. 9 minutes equals to 3 rounds. if you can make 3 minutes with me, I can train you. If you can't make 3 minutes, then I can't train you because the level of intent I hit every component. I hit muscle endurance, I hit speed and power, and I hit recovery. So I'll do 3 or 4 different exercises that's going to let me know that if you hit something, you're going to recover. If I tell you if you got a 6 round fight, I need 18, 3, 6, 9. Y'all need about 20 minutes, but 9 minutes will tell me everything. If you can hit something and recover, and then hit it and recover with the high volume, which is your speed, and then continue to do that, then I can train you because that's fighting. If you hit something, and I got to go back to running because when I ran, all we did was run. That's all we did. And when a boxer tells me that they punch themselves out, in my mind, they don't have the muscle. They don't have the muscle endurance. They don't have explosion, and they don't have recovery. So those are things I work on. If I tell you, okay, hit the bag for a minute, but I want it done at 100% for 3 minutes. That's only one round. So you imagine doing that for 3 rounds. You have to. If you can't punch for 3 minutes, you're gonna get your ass whipped. And the first person to get tired is gonna lose. So those 3 things, man, I take those in consideration. If they can make 9 minutes, 3 rounds, and I'll work with them. So yeah, you got to learn how to the punch. You have when you punch, the muscle has to recover, and you have to punch with speed and power. And then the endurance to last long. So it's
And
just not.
those
It's a science to it, and you got to know what you're doing. A lot of these guys got strength coaches, and they don't know what they're doing. I'm telling you right now, I could look at them and tell they don't know what they're doing. It's crazy.
so when you talk about recovery,
Hmm.
when you talk about high intensity, we hear the word strength and think people are just picking up weights. People
Oh,
meaning boxers, athletes, just bench pressing and deadlifting when we hear the word strength. But
mhm.
you're talking about other elements. You talked about the science being involved in it. And it's not about the strength that we think about.
Yeah, it's boxing. It's boxing. Now, there's certain times of the year where you can do things as it pertains to weight training, but you got to be careful because the weight training, lifting weights, that type of strength does not carry over to boxing unless you do it a certain way. I can't reveal that, but you got to do it a certain way in order for it to transfer over to boxing. You see guys lifting all the heavy weight, but then they get in the ring, that muscle fatigues real fast because the muscle has no endurance. I'm gonna give you an example. People were going crazy, right? People were going crazy when they said, "Oh man, Lomachenko can hold his breath for 4 minutes underwater." I was like, "And what? That's only one round. That's a round and 1 minute recovery. 3 minute round, 1 minute to recover. That ain't shit." I said, if you can't punch for 3 minutes underwater, it's a waste of time to be in the water punching. There's no need. So people are doing things and making money off of these people who have no idea what they're doing, running with oxygen masks and thinking you're at altitude and running on a treadmill. And we do treadmill stuff, but there's a certain thing, there's a certain way you do that. That treadmill is always going to give you some help, but the elements you could never replace elements with machines. Can't do it. It'll never happen. Never happen. So yeah, there's science to it, man. So if we're gonna lift weights, it's gonna be boxing related. If we're gonna do plyometrics for explosion and speed, it's gonna be boxing related. The muscles that you're gonna use for boxing, those are the muscles that we're gonna strengthen. We're gonna make them more explosive. We're gonna make them recover faster, and we're gonna make them have the endurance that they need to last for the duration of the fight. Whether it's 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, we can make them last that long. And if you come to me and tell me you got a 4-round fight, I'm training you for 8. So I got I got the blueprints, man. They think I'm crazy, bro. I've been telling them I got the prints. I got the vault right over there.
Yeah, you say you got the blueprint. Now, you have been the strength and conditioning coach for Regis Prograis, you said, what, over 12 years?
Yes.
So that's kind of day one. He's been very successful, world championship caliber
Mm-hmm.
type of fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You guys might have your hands full, according to
Mm-hmm.
the media, social media, boxing pundits, based on the fact that, the pedigree
Mm-hmm.
that Devin Haney brings to the table, people are not even giving you guys a chance to even compete, let alone win against Devin Haney on December the 5th, because of course
December
he
9th.
is a,
December 9th.
excuse me, December the 9th, I apologize, December the 9th. So on December 9th,
Mm-hmm.
you guys, Regis Prograis, Team Prograis, you guys will have to fight Devin Haney.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the press conference, you was going back and forth with not just Devin, but his dad, Bill Haney.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had some war of words. Regis played the background, but we saw East Trenton, New Jersey be in full effect. What were some of the things that you were trying to convey to the Haneys?
That we are here to fight. You're going to respect the champion's presence. We're not going to speak first. You're going to speak first because you're a challenger. That's respect for the champion. You're not going to say stuff that's not correct about the champion, and you're going to respect our views and what we're saying about Devin Haney. When I said, if you look back, I was the only one that talked about boxing. Now I wasn't. I did my research on Devin Haney because I knew he wasn't what I saw in the media and leading up to the fight. I knew he was a good kid, but I didn't like the way he vocalized himself on stage. I wasn't expecting that to come out of his mouth, right? So when he started talking about calling people bum ass niggas, in my mind, my head clicked. I'm thinking, those are street words. I know you're not a street kid because in my research, my thing says Catholic private school. I coached at a private school. Nothing wrong with going to a private school, but conduct yourself as an educated guy, you know. And you're boxing, yeah. We're gonna get lit up. We're gonna be talking some smack, but not that kind of smack. And I kind of felt disrespected. So I had to check him. I was like, we don't talk. I didn't teach my kids to talk like that at private school. So, you know, I had facts. Everything that I said, he fought, he had 30 fights. He knocked out 15 bums, and he really only had 5 really competitive fights. And the 5 competitive fights that he had, one being Lomachenko, when I think he lost, and then he had Jojo Diaz. Who was the other guy? What's the other kid's name? Jojo Diaz, Lomachenko, he had Cambosos, he had Gamboa, and he had one more. I can't remember the other guy he had. But he didn't knock those guys out. And you said you had powers making weight, but you still were dominated by those smaller gentlemen. And if you think you're going to come up here and dominate Regis Prograis, it's not going to happen. Physically, he don't have it, right? Can Devin Haney box? Yes, he could box. Regis can box as well, and he could punch, and he has endurance, and he has power, and he has speed, and he has a chin. So I don't know what the boxing world is comparing. They're comparing these two fighters based on Devin Haney's boxing skills. Everything is good until you get punched in the mouth. The same thing with Lomachenko. When he fought Teofimo, I called that fight, bro. And guys, you crazy as hell. You crazy as hell. I said, when Lomachenko get punched in him, and I don't even like Teofimo that good. I don't even like him that much. But I was riding with him on that fight because I knew one thing was going to happen. He was going to hit Lomachenko in the mouth. No, he was way bigger than Lomachenko. I said, when you get hit in the mouth, all that shit gonna stop. And I'll be damned if it didn't happen. I should have I should have bet on that fight, man. I'd have won so much money. Oh, I get sick every time I think about it. And they're looking at us. They're looking at Regis as a stepping stone. And then they're not giving him no credit, and which is disrespectful. I feel disrespected. He feels disrespected. How are you going to come up here and discredit a two-time world champion? I'm not going to let that happen. So he got chips on his shoulder, the left one, the right one, the top of his head, the end of his fist, the bottom of his feet, the back of his hamstrings. Everywhere there's a chip. And we are all doing our job to make that night, December 9th, very successful and a very dominant night. Devin Haney is going to be exposed. If you do not have, you can get big all you want. I'm going to tell you one thing. They don't know what they're doing. And early on, he said, yeah, you reached out. Yeah, I reached out to Devin Haney years ago. And I said, I saw him, I must have seen the fight. I was like, this kid might need my help. I told him, I reached out to a lot of top fighters because I have a lot to offer these guys. And so you didn't pick me. Guess what? Here we are. We're here.
Now, we got to unpack that, but it's two things that you said I want to unpack first. That's a
Okay.
very good point that you brought up, and that's what I like about you, Evans. You don't shy away from no topic, and that's what boxing needs. So let's start about. You talked about Devin Haney having 30 wins. Uh, Half of those wins, 15 of them came by knockout, and then you said that only 5 of those 15 wins that came by knockout were against smaller guys who were not basically on his level, uh,
Absolutely.
competition wise, right? So my question becomes, if Devin Haney has a little bit of power that you basically are not expecting him to have, how are you going to respond to that? And when I say power, let me be clear, because this is a question that most people might have. So let's say he, meaning Devin Haney, may not have knockout power, but he have enough power to keep you honest with that reach, with that jab. And then of course, the left hand comes behind that, and the accumulation of punches where it's powerful because of the accumulation and it keeps you honest. How will Team Regis basically build a plan for that type of power?
Well, guess what? Guess what? That's not my job. But we got two hell of a boxing coaches that's putting together that plan. Bobby Benton, who nobody really gets credit for, two-time world champion coach. He coached O'Shaquie Foster, and he's coaching Regis Prograis. Then we got Julian Chua, who is the most underrated young boxing mind in the world. He and Bobby Benton are putting their heads together. And I got to shout out my team: Bobby Benton, Julian Chua, Aaron Navarro. We got Hollywood. We got Mike. We got who else we got on the team? I'm forgetting names already. We got Benji Billion. We got Marlon Johnson. We got the mom. We got the dad. Man, look, they're putting together an assault. We got nutritionists, the nutritionist from Canada. Then we have this team is stacked, but the people that are putting that assault together, it's gonna be unreal. And one thing is this. Some things athletes are blessed with, right? We know Devin Haney been hitting people flush with them straight punches. He bigger than everybody he fought at 135. He don't have no power. Listen, he is not going to be able to stop Regis Prograis. And I guarantee you they got something for that jab. What are you going to do after that? So check this out. He going to hit Regis. It's a boxing match. He can't hurt Regis in no way. And you're not going to develop power in 8 weeks. It just don't happen. Okay? You got all that fluff you got, it's not going to transfer to power, son. That's why you should have hired me 2 years ago. We would have had this fucking problem. But anyway,
So, so with that, right? You used the words that Regis Prograis used about a few weeks ago. Everybody on YouTube heard him. Of course, all the media, some fighters heard him. Regis Prograis was in an interview,
Mm-hmm.
And as you alluded to,
Mm-hmm.
that Devin Haney looked big. You said it wasn't going to transfer over, but Regis Prograis said at the press conference when he saw Devin Haney, he said his head looked big, his body looked big. He just looked naturally bigger than Regis. You're the strength and conditioning coach. Will you make sure that there is an even level playing field with the weights and all of those elements involved to make sure that these guys come in
Well,
on an even playing field as
well,
far
guess
as
what?
Regis?
It ain't even. It ain't even because Reed's got them third missiles and them bombs. Devin Haney does not have bombs. He don't have no bombs. He can be big as hell, but he got to come down to 140. He got to get in the scale of 140. He gonna get in the scale of 140. We gonna get in the scale of 140. When he rehydrates up, we're gonna be close to 160, just like he will. The bottom line is that if you're not possessed with this natural power, it's not gonna happen. Just like if you don't have a fucking chin, if you have not been punched in the mouth, you're not gonna be able to handle it. He gonna get hit. He gonna hit Regis too. But what is he gonna do when he get hit? We know what he do. We've seen him. We've seen him get hit by smaller guys like Lomachenko. Lomachenko hurt him a couple of times. Lenars hurt him. We already know what he did. Lenars did with him. I have no idea why Lenars didn't finish that guy. Jojo Diaz hurt him a couple of times. These guys are way smaller. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not saying this because he's my fighter. Regis, just like Deontay Wilder, is the most ruthless, heavy-handed puncher in the 140-pound division. Ask anybody that's been hit by Regis Prograis. He got thuds in both of his hands and both of his fists. Haney gonna taste that, and let's see what he do. We know he can hit Regis, but guess what? He not gonna hit him all night. It ain't going 12 rounds. Like I said, the fight will be ended before 12 rounds. But Regis Prograis knocking Devin Haney out. Devin Haney can't take this onslaught. He's not seen a fighter. He's not faced a fight of this magnitude. Also, we're fighting for two different things. We're fighting for two different things. Devin Haney has a cushion at 135. So what is he really fighting for? What are you fighting for? Regis Prograis is a 140-pound champion. He's fighting for his life. He's fighting for his legacy. He's fighting for his family. He's fighting for fucking respect. You need to have something to fight for, Haney. Haney is not fighting for nothing but straight fucking greed. Why you not pretending your belts at 135? Why would you want to come up to 140 and challenge this guy? I'm gonna tell you why. Because we had a not so great performance in New Orleans, and they really think that Regis Prograis is the same guy that they saw in New Orleans. And like I told him at the press conference, you've been bamboozled. Eddie
So
Hearn, Eddie Hearn, thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. We appreciate that, bro. Thank you, Matthew, for putting on a fight in New Orleans and Porgy not having a good deal. And the Haneys came in and they started licking their chops. But guess what? They signed the fucking contract, and it's too late to turn back now. Don't get no energy, motherfucker, because we're gonna beat that ass. We're gonna beat that ass. And you're going to get knocked out. You're going to get knocked out. Like I told you.
so Bill Haney, he came to Regis's last fight,
Hmm.
obviously to scout him,
Hmm.
and in his opinion, in the opinions of the boxing world, the boxing community, fans all around the world, we didn't see the same Regis Prograis that we were used to seeing.
Right.
Can you give us some background on why was that? Was it something going on
Well,
in camp?
Well, camp was good. Camp was great. We always had good camps, good hard nosed, camps. And this camp, we were preparing for um, one of the guys that's on the card now. He's fighting. He's fighting Montana Love. We was preparing for that guy. He got hurt at the end. They brought in Zorilla at the last minute. Once Zorilla felt that power, he started to run, and we just did what he did. Didn't look good, and that's what they saw. They saw that they think it's a weakness. How fucking arrogant is that? How arrogant can you be to think that a two-time world champion would have an off night and you think that's how he's gonna fight you? You got to be fucked up in the mind to think that. And they thinking that they saw that one night and they're gonna capitalize. What are you gonna capitalize on? What did you see? You saw him not cutting the ring off. That's it. The Gorilla got knocked from behind. I mean, come on, bro. And they said Reza got knocked out. He was slipped. It was a tangles of defeat. Gorilla didn't knock nobody down. So, they, like I said, they're like vultures, man. They came in and they saw a not so good performance, and they think they can capitalize on Devin Haney. So what they're planning on doing is running the ring. And guess what? I'm the real fucking track coach. We're gonna be able to run. We're gonna be able to cut the ring off, and we're gonna do it for a long time until we catch that ass and put you on your seat.
So
So
you're predicting live in living color right here on the Roll the Tape podcast, Evans, that Regis Prograis is going to do something that nobody has done. Even Lomachenko had him hurt in his last fight. You're predicting that Regis Prograis is going to knock Devin Haney out, man?
knock him cold the fuck out before 12 rounds.
That's a bold prediction, brother.
Hey, I told Cepeda the same thing. They said the same thing. I told Cepeda, just like I'm saying right now, I said, you tried this 2 times already. You're going to get knocked out this time for the first time in your career, son. You're going to get knocked out. He said, no, everybody said this. I said, no, everybody's not me. You're going to get knocked out. He got knocked out in the 11th round.
You told Zepeda that.
Go look at it. Go look at the clip. I told him in his face. I said, you could get knocked the fuck out. You're going to get knocked out. Same thing I told Haney. He get knocked out.
Now, there were some war words, because I'm sure when Bill Haney, I don't know if he's going to hear this, but when he does, he's going to have something to say about you saying that his son going to get knocked out. So I know you're expecting for Bill Haney to come back with some fire and war words himself.
Man, listen, Bill, ain't nobody worried about what Bill Haney gonna say with your politician putting words together ass. The bottom line is that your son getting knocked out. You can talk all you want. You can say what you want. You understand what's about to happen. We're coming to your city, and we're going to end all this bullshit that you've been putting to the boxing public. Everybody's scared to talk to Bill Haney. What in the world? I'm like, I don't get it. Bro, I was just telling the truth. And people are like, oh, Bill Haney. I don't give a fuck about Bill Haney. I don't dislike Bill Haney, but and that's another thing I want to explain to people. I don't hate nobody. I've given Devin Haney props for his accomplishments in boxing. I like the kid. I like his accomplishments. He's done well. But guess what? This is called competition fucking war. During the wartime, I don't give a fuck about the Haneys. I don't care about the motherfuckers. After the fight's over, I'll shake your hand. Win, lose, or draw. I'm a man of my word. And I'm an athlete. I've been at the top, I've been at the bottom. So I'm not afraid of nothing. I know what we're coming to do. I know what we're up against. I know what we're fighting for. We're fighting for two different things. And that's gonna be the difference. When you get a cat, you back a dog or a cat in the fucking corner. They're trying to back us up in the corner, bro. They're trying to do it at the press conference. Will you speak? How you gonna make the champion ask the champion to speak first? And then Bill Haney say we was invited. How you gonna invite the fucking champion to a championship fight? Come on, bro. That mental shit, I'm already 20 steps ahead. No, we're gonna knock Devin Haney out. We're gonna knock him out. And the boxing world gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. So when this happens, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you on this show, they're not going to be able to hold me, bro. This, I don't know. The reaction that I'm going to get, I can't even explain it to you. It's going to be unreal because it's about that time. It's about time that the world recognizes who Regis Prograis is. How you not be recognized being two-time world champion in a division where guys like Marvin Hagler dominated? You know, me and Marvin Hagler got the same birthday.
R.I.P. Marvin Hagler.
Yeah,
R.I.P. Marvelous.
monster. But he get
Evans, say that again. I didn't hear you.
Devin Haney's getting knocked out December 9th.
Okay, we got it. I don't want to hold you too long. I have to leave you with this. You are a strength and conditioning coach. Devin Haney. He also have a strength and conditioning coach. And my audience, they know very well of how I feel about that. I've been very vocal about it on this channel. Victor Conti, the snack program. You are a strength and conditioning coach. You have your own regimens that has worked with Regis Prograis for over 12 years. Devin Haney's been with Victor Conti for many years. We've seen the accomplishments that he has garnered being with the snack program. I don't want to say concern. I don't think that's an appropriate word for somebody of your caliber and Regis.
Well,
But
well,
what is your thought process? Because they have a strength and conditioning program that works over there with the snack program, and your program works with Regis. So
let
from one strength and conditioning coach to another in Victor Conti, what is your
me, let
assessment of it?
me tell you something. Victor Conte can't wear my motherfucking shoes. The only thing Victor Conte got over me is a vitamin company and a snack and the product that he created. Victor Conte is a mad fucking science. When I did track and field, Victor Conte was around. Okay, I wouldn't want to be associated with Victor Conte if I was in the sport because we already know the background. The background is real. It's real what he's done. Okay, if you're gonna be associated with that, then go ahead. Eat, drink, sleep, fuck, chew, all that shit. Eat the snack, do whatever whatever the program calls you to do. It ain't gonna help. It's not gonna help. And we're gonna see that Evans Tobler, Team Regis, is way better than any snack program they could get on. Some athletes have it, some athletes don't. Apparently, he ain't been knocking nobody out. So I don't know what Snack is doing with Devin Haney. You know, I don't know. We saw Terrence Crawford is phenomenal. People don't even know Terrence Crawford is physically stronger than everybody else because of the
He
things that
is.
he do outside of boxing. Devin Haney ain't that guy. Snack is not going to help Devin Haney in this venture come December 9th.
All right, you got it. We have the guy, the strength and conditioning coach of Regis Prograis. He is underrated. We've seen his work with Regis. And what's the other fighter name that you
Man, I
started out with?
a whole bunch of kids, man. I worked with Kenny Sims. I don't know if you remember Boss Man Kenny Sims when Kenny Sims up not an upset, but he beat Elvis Rodriguez. Rodriguez was 10-0 at the time. Now I think Kenny is among the top five 140 pounders. I worked with Jared Hurd. I worked with Eric Molina. I've worked with Keyshawn Davis. I worked with the whole U.S. boxing. I had the whole U.S. boxing team here. Richard Torres. I had the whole team. Who the other guy? Greer. All those guys are here in Houston under Kate Corona and came to send those athletes over to me. I worked with various athletes. Jenny, I always say her name wrong. Jenny is a two-time Olympian. She's an undefeated pro. I worked with Hannah Gabriels. You know, the list goes on and on and on, man. I work with Quentin Randall, who's about to fight in a couple of days.
Yep.
He's also undefeated. You know, I work with, of course, some of the guys that I work with now that I worked with in the past, they're not fighting anymore, but there was tons of athletes, man. I was with Eric Molina when we opened up Saudi Arabia with Joshua and Ruiz. I did his whole training camp. I ran the whole training camp. Now, I didn't tell the boxing coaches what to do, but I had suggestions. That was one of the best training camps I ever had. Shout out to Marlon Johnson, man. Marlon handles all the stuff for Eric Molina. He also does all the stuff for Regis with negotiations from 3NG Boxing. I also work with Freddie Rojas. Rojas is right now undefeated
Yep.
147 pounder, 12-0 with 12 knockouts.
Yes, he
You
is.
know,
Yep.
bro, the list goes on and on. Just because you're not out in the front and talking crazy, you know, doesn't mean that I'm the best, man. I'm the best at what I do. I don't believe there's no one in the game that's better than me. There's a couple of coaches out there that have credentials sort of similar to mine. I know who they are. One of the guys is Larry Wade.
Larry
Larry
Wade.
Wade is
Yep.
another
Strength and conditioning.
listen,
Strength and conditioning.
another track and field guy. Larry Wade ran the hurdles for Texas A&M. Okay, he's another guy out there that I like. Of course, Jack here is in Houston. I like Jack. Jack is pretty good, and Larry Wade. Other than that, man, I'm holding it down. I got two-time world champion. I got Olympian. I got professional, undefeated professionals, and soon to maintain that 140-pound belt. And supposedly we're gonna show the world. I'm not gonna be shocked. The world gonna be shocked. I know what Regis can do. I know what he's capable of doing. I know what he's fighting for. He won't be denied this victory or that knockout of Devin Haney on December 9th. So from Dubai to Australia to from Trenton, New Jersey to New Orleans to Houston to Baltimore, from the Bay Area, tune in December 9th and watch this massacre. It's going to be a show. It's going to be spectacular, and it's going to be a knockout. I know there's a lot of fans that don't like Devin Haney because of what he's about. I don't dislike the kid. I just like him right now because we're going to fuck him up. We're about to change his lifestyle, and we're going to rise up, man. Listen, I appreciate you having me on the show, bro.
Salute,
I love
bro.
it, man. I
I
love
know
it.
you do.
I love it.
And
I
and
love
before you go, man, do me one good favor from my guy, Chris Lee. Send East Trenton some love on the show, man. Salute to you
it.
guys from East Trenton, man.
His family was a bomb, bro. I'm telling you. Chris, big us, man. Listen, I'm telling you right now. Trenton, we're in the building, baby, and we're gonna show up and we're gonna show out. And listen, I'm gonna raise that East Trenton sign up on them boys, man. That East Side for life, 600 block, 676 North Clinton Avenue. They raised up monsters. I'm one of the monsters from the neighborhood. He was a youngster in the neighborhood, but he a beast. Better be careful how you travel the boys to be Trenton, man. I love that. I love my neighborhood, man. I love you guys, man. Thank you, East Trenton, for making me who I am today. God bless y'all. I love y'all.
Awesome, man. Thank you
East
for your
Trenton for life.
time. And hopefully soon we can get Regis on here for an interview before the fight, coach.
Yes, I'm gonna work on that for you. I'm gonna work on that for you.
My God, salute to you, man. Thank you for your time, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate
You
it.
got it. Anytime.
Yep. All right.